time to call your lawyer.
Look at that. We have managed to work our way to 9:31. And yep, it is time to place a call, as we do on Wednesdays, to our lawyer and friend, attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner. See what he thinks about today's legal brain teaser. I'll throw that question out to him in a moment. First, though, I need to let you know that what you're about to hear shouldn't be taken as specific advice in your specific legal situation. Or hopefully you're not in a legal situation. But if you are, don't take this as advice. You've got to sit down face-to-face with a legal professional to get that kind of constructive advice. So for educational purposes only, we present the following. Ask the lawyer. Now, a lot of lawyers offer a free consultation. I know Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates do, so I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll give you the contact information for the Port Charlotte office coming up here in just a moment. Might make it a little bit easier if you do have something in your life that needs legal representation. What we can tell you, and this is excellent advice across the board, don't ever make any statements, let anyone record any conversations, and for heaven's sakes, don't sign anything, not even the back of a check, as enticing as that might seem, without speaking to a legal professional first. With all of that in mind, let's see what Bruce thinks of our legal brain teaser of the day. Kicks Country 92.9. Would you please help me welcome Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How you doing?
Just fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing extra special well. We just got some real good news in the family.
You did?
My daughter-in-law, who's a wonderful young lady, and my son had what they call today a reveal party.
Oh, and?
And it's very interesting because that's something new to my generation.
Right, yeah.
So in the first one, they had balloons, and they delivered the balloons, and the balloons were blue, and you knew it was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, they sent them 7 candles.
Okay.
And you had to light the candles to find out, once you got 4 of one color, then you knew if it was a boy or a girl.
The majority rules. Oh, that's interesting.
Right. So in this case, they lit the first one, it was blue. The second one was pink. The third one was blue.
Oh, my goodness.
And the fourth one was blue. So it's like, the finals of the NBA.
I was just going to say, it's like the Stanley Cup playoffs here. This is keeping me on the edge of my seat.
So the last 3 were pink, and we're having a girl.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a nice balance, little boy, little girl. And I know her grandfather is going to spoil her.
As much as I can.
I knew that. I just knew that. Well, congratulations to the whole family. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you very much.
We've got a question to get into, and I'm hoping that you can provide some answers. I think we've talked about this on some occasions. There's a lot more talk, a lot more openness these days about sexual improprieties happening in our society. And I think it's both a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, nobody wants these things to happen, but it's a good thing that people are out there speaking out when something happens, and that's kind of the direction we're going to go today.
Yes, it is, and it's crazy how often we're seeing it today.
Yeah.
For years and years, I never heard anything about it.
One can only hope that everybody who comes into contact with this kind of a situation brings it out to the public. The more it's talked about, the more the light is shown on it, the quicker it'll hopefully disappear and go away.
I hope you're right.
Let me read you what we have here, and then you can weigh in with your thoughts. It says this. Recently, my best friend was sexually assaulted by an Uber driver after getting a ride home. The driver had offered to help carry some groceries into her house for her and then assaulted her. The police were called and later arrested the man, who had indicated had previous sexual assault charges in another state. She has reached out to Uber for her medical bills as well as counseling, and the only response she received was that the driver had been terminated from Uber, and that was because he had signed off the app prior to his action. His actions were not their responsibility. What can a lawyer do to help my friend? Okay, this is a bunch of jumbled mess here. How do you feel about this situation?
Well, I think that Uber and the driver have a big, big problem.
Okay.
I think that Uber has a duty to carefully research and provide the public with, safe drivers, safe in more than just the ability to drive. And since the driver had a record, they should have become aware of the record before they let him transport passengers in the name of Uber.
That's a very good point. You would hope and expect them to do that kind of thing. But what about him signing off the app prior to what he allegedly did? Does that make a difference?
I don't think it makes a difference to me, because he came under the auspices of being an Uber driver, and it was the entree of being an Uber driver that, put them together and let her have him help her into the house. So I don't think Uber gets a pass because he signed off on his app.
Stuff like this, as far as it being an app on your phone and a brand new technology, it's all sort of a new frontier as far as the law is concerned, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last.
I said, with it being an app on the phone and a new kind of technology, it's all sort of a new frontier as far as the law is concerned, right?
Well, it's absolutely a new frontier, but you still apply the same principles that we have for years and years, and that apparently he was working for an agent of Uber, and Uber has a duty to again provide you with safe drivers,
right,
and people that aren't going to take advantage of their customers.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's how a lawyer might be able to help her friend. I hope that her friend does take some action, speaks to a professional fairly quickly on this, because to me, the most important thing is to get her the necessary counseling that she's going to need. And if she doesn't have the money to start that herself, she needs to get going on that.
Yeah, and absolutely, while we're talking about that subject, the most important thing that a person who's a victim of a sexual assault could do is report it to the authorities as soon as possible, and get medical attention as soon as possible, because they use that as a defense that they waited so long to report it, or they didn't get medical attention. So someone should report it immediately with the police and go to get medical attention as soon as possible.
Well, and like we were saying at the beginning of this conversation, there was a time when this stuff was kind of swept under the rug, not talked about in polite company, that kind of thing. But there's an openness today, and so there's not the stigma there once was. There's no reason to not contact the authorities when this happens.
I agree.
Bruce, thanks so much for weighing in on this topic today. And I know you said you've dealt with a lot of these things. Hopefully, that number starts going down. We appreciate any advice that you give us on these Ask the Lawyer segments, though. Look forward to talking to you next week.
I look forward to talking with you, Todd.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. And now let me tell you how to contact his office in Port Charlotte. If you've got a question, remember, free consultations at 941-743-7777. 743-7777. If you'd like to submit a question for future consideration, simply go to our website, kickscountry929.com, and look for BLS Bruce L. Scheiner. Once again, that Port Charlotte office number, 941-743-7777. Tell them Todd Matthews sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.